Hey guys, it's Chris from Deus Ex Machina, and our lead up to the Affinity Kickstarter, which is going to launch on March 30th, I'm here to talk about the campaign. Now, if you can look through the campaign, you can see the pledges, you can see the stretch goals. You don't really need to watch this. This is for people who have either issues reading the campaign or would like it just to have me go through it without having to scroll through the whole thing. So I'm going to go through and scroll it with you and tell you what we're about and what the game's about and what to expect from this campaign. So this is for 5th edition rules. It involves 3 different campaign books, but the settings are interconnected. So these books are currently about over 210 pages in length. This is before most of the artwork, or potentially unlockable content. Ultra Modern, it was a guess how many pages we were going to hit. I thought it was going to be 400 plus, ended up being about just under 400 pages. But in this one, the content has already been written to 200 plus, so we know it's going to be 200 pages, so it's going to probably be more. So you add that together, you get 600 pages, so 600 plus is 100% accurate. These are 3 interconnected settings. The common point between them is that the settings have a different ratio of magic and technology. 80% magic, 20% technology for Paradise, 50-50 for Taurus, and then 20-80% sci-fi for Conestoga. These worlds are all artificial in some way. They are manufactured worlds, whether it be an orrery, a giant donut, or a giant peanut. I swear to God, this is true. They all offer new rules, new races, and so forth, and we'll go into details on that. So Affinity is the name of the setting. Each of them have the 3 individual names: Paradise, Taurus, and Conestoga. My name is Chris Diaz. I'm the guy who designed it, and I also designed Amethyst, which is kind of my magnum opus, where we have several games off of that series. That introduced non-fantasy rules to 5e and 4e, which the original Amethyst, and we used that to create a product called Ultra Modern, which is generic rules, which became kind of the de facto D20 for 5th edition and 4th edition as well. And that's an extremely popular game, probably it is the most popular third-party non-fantasy title, not produced by Wizards of the Coast. It is the original Ultra Modern 5 is a platinum seller. Actually, it's Mithril. I'm not sure it's Mithril now. And the new Ultra Modern Redo is already at platinum. So, like I said, these are very, very popular games. This series, Affinity, does not require Ultra Modern. I would absolutely recommend that you do. Because obviously we have firearms and stuff like that, but yet the gunslinger and the military classes are from Ultramodern. They do not get replicated here. Otherwise, this would be 900 pages of content. I'm not in the mood to do that. So if you want to have non-fantasy classes, you would need Ultramodern. If you want to use fantasy races and employ the technology in your own way, use traditional 5e books. The rules that are important from Ultramodern do get moved over. So the combat firearm rules, which only amounts to about a half a page, they're replicated as well. Other things you'll notice is that there's a narrative section. There's a bunch of story segments in these books that directly connect between each other, and there's a bit of a puzzle, but this is me also believing that role-playing games have some narrative value on their own. So I have tons of role-playing games I have read and not played. I know a lot of people here have a lot of games they have read and not played. And this is my way of creating something where it's enjoyable as much to read it as to play it. Half of the pages in these are dedicated to the lore and the fluff and the story. The remaining is mechanics. All new mechanics. Some of them would be very interesting to some people. This is my 4th campaign. Technically, I've won now. I'm a collaborator, so this is technically my 3rd campaign. Amethyst, Ultramodern. No, this is my 4th one. I guess it doesn't count the other one. So Amethyst was my first one. Then I did Ultramodern. I did a board game called Naramata, which is coming out later this year. And this is my new campaign that we're launching. So Paradise is the fantasy series. We have 3 new races, 5 new backgrounds, a new class. This is a magic class. Called the Apicadarian, and it's using this new spell system based on talismans. That's the idea that every spell has to be inscribed and then that piece of paper placed on something in order to activate it. This class is very much centered on animating things, creatures, people, and golems. There's a lot of golem rules, and I want to expand on that with the stretch goal, so hopefully we'll be able to expand on that. But that's a new spellcasting system, and then the new class is based off of that spellcasting system. We have 5 new backgrounds, potentially more, 3 new races, potentially more. A whole bunch of magic items, New rules, expanded rules on alchemy, which are not 100% finished yet, but we're still working on it. And a bunch of super advanced armors and gear. This is kind of this magic tech that's being introduced in Paradise. And 40 plus new monsters. Only one is copied between all three, but there's a narrative reason for that. That brings us into Conestoga. This is unlike Paradise, which is trying to be a little bit of sci-fi in a dungeon-delving classical fantasy game. Conestoga is inspired by loot-and-shoot sci-fi video games, specifically games like Anthem and Destiny, and another game that was also heavily inspired by it was Dead Space 3, specifically. So this is a combination of those elements of players playing mercenaries that are trying to scavenge technology within this colossal alien spacecraft. This got a lot of mecha power armor. There's a lot of power armor in the story. We have 3 new races, potentially more, 7 new backgrounds, 28 pages of revised and new technological gear, and a unique weapon construction system capable of creating 11,000 different firearms. So watch the deep dive video also on this page. That'll go over a bit more specific detail what that is. But this is a huge section of this book that allows you to construct a whole bunch of different items. We've got a bunch of powered armor with a whole bunch of upgrades, new loot rules, and once again, 40 plus monsters. Which brings us to Taurus. Taurus is a post-apocalyptic steampunk setting, Weird West, and some Victorian steampunk elements as well. We have a brand new magic system in here based off of actual playing cards. You build a deck of playing cards out of the game, and then you as a player draw these cards out in order to cast your spells. The class, whose name escapes me, that one employs this new magic system. So this new class is the new spellcaster. 6 new backgrounds, 3 new races, a bunch of steampunk-inspired firearms. These weapons are pulled off from the Old West, a lot of old-style firearms, plus a new inscription-based system that allows you to enchant these weapons in a very unique fashion. A whole bunch of vehicles, including trains, 40 plus new monsters. So, as said, this is meant to be a shared universe of these 3 settings. They don't directly interact with each other. You can see how they interact in the narrative. It's more of an enjoyable experience to read them, so you can pick up these ties between these 3 settings. It's more of a narrative challenge to myself to create in that way. You can take one book and just play the game off of that. You don't necessarily need all 2, but as an enjoyable reading experience, you want to read all 3 to understand how these 3 stories interrelate. But you do not require one game to play the other one mechanically. They do not require each other. You can just play Conestoga and play that without having to purchase Paradise or Taurus. But I still think that if you want to get the full experience, as a reading experience, you want to get all 3. For those people who are aware, when we ran Ultramodern in 2019, this was the last stretch goal, was unlocking Affinity, which at the time was meant to be a 100-page black and white series of 3 interlocked games. And then we had it for sale for about $10, and certain backers got it automatically as their top 2 tier campaigns pledges. Unfortunately, as I started writing it, and I realized it was twice as big as I originally planned, and the art budget would not justify it. And I wanted it to be the game I wanted it to be. To do that, we need to launch it on Kickstarter. And that's why there's 2 versions of the game. There's the original monochrome version and a new color version. The people that bought the monochrome version, you are still getting that product. You are not required to reback this campaign. I need to stress this implicitly. If you purchased the 3 Affinity games in 2019 as part of the Kickstarter for Ultramodern, or you got those 3 as part of the 2 top pledges, you do not need to pledge this campaign. The black and white version of Affinity is still happening regardless of how this campaign succeeds. However, this campaign will fund additional, or anything that's unlocked for this version will follow through to both. This technically is for the color version, and to make the color and the black and white version as complete as they can be. So anytime we make an illustration that's unlocked, it'll be made in color and it will be made in black and white. That's the important thing. And the games will feature identical content. So if we unlock certain new races, that race will be in both games. The games will be identical. So Conestoga Monochrome will be exactly the same as Conestoga Color. Will there be maybe an additional color illustration or two in the color version, not in the black and white? I cannot say no to that. It's not planned, but I cannot guarantee that won't happen. But mechanically, they'll all have the same setting, the same writing, the same rules. But obviously, for backers that say, look, I backed the black and white, I still want it, don't back this, you're fine. You're still getting the black and whites when they get made, probably later this year. Considering the writing's already done, if this campaign doesn't succeed, then it'll probably come out late spring. Well, we're already in spring. Probably early summer. I don't know. I'm snowing outside now. So, once again, to reiterate one more time, if you bought Affinity, the 3 books, as part of Ultramodern, and you still want the black and white version, you don't need to back this campaign. However, if you want the color version, I have included 2 new pledges for you. We have a bunch of videos which you can watch at your own leisure, and we'll skip to the pledges. Now, the first pledge here are single pledges. This allows you to buy one of the 3 PDFs in monochrome, one of the 3 PDFs in color, or one of the 3 print books, which include the color and monochrome PDF as part of the package. I am including this. I honestly don't think anyone should back it. Obviously, if you just say, look, I just want Taurus, I have no interest in Paradise and Conestoga, and I have no interest in these, I just want to buy just the one. Okay, go for the single one. When we launch the Pledge Manager through CrowdOx, you will have the opportunity to select which one you want. So it won't be here, it will be in this one. So don't feel like you're pledging for one of these and go, how do I tell you which one I want? Don't bother sending me a message, it'll get lost. Just wait. When the Pledge Manager launches, you will be able to select which one, if you want the Conestoga, Taurus, or Paradise, color or monochrome, or the print version. If you get the print version of Paradise, for example, you will get the color and monochrome version of it as well. You cannot select Paradise as a print and then get the Conestoga PDF. It doesn't work that way. You will only get the color and the PDF to get the color, the monochrome, and the color PDFs with your selection. So these are the single pledges. And like I said, I think there's a value for all 3 games together, so I think you should get them all together. And that's what these are, the complete pledges. First one is the digital monochrome. All 3 of the original, these ones in monochrome. Obviously, these look like in color because the covers are still in color, just the game is not. Then the color version, which is a bit more expensive, so it's $31 Canadian to $43, so it's about $12 more to get the exact same thing, but now it's full color. And oddly enough, you get the black and white as well. Now, I'm including the black and white as well because why not? But maybe, for example, you want to have this as a PDF and you want to print the monochrome. So this is your way of saving on ink if you want just to get this here and print the black and white and have the color in your iPad or what have you. But this is the one I really think people should go for. This is the Affinity Complete Set. This includes the slipcase and the 3 games and all of the unlockable stretch goals regarding paper quality and any other things like spot UV coating, new cover illustrations. That'll also all be included in this. There's a whole bunch of stretch goals dealing with page quality. We're going to 60 to 80 to 100. If we blow through all the stretch goals, this will be an amazing looking book. Once again, you get the 3 PDFs in color and monochrome. That's why you have a long list of stuff here. But it's just basically this, plus these PDFs in both formats. You're also getting an art portfolio. I did this with Amethyst and with Ultramodern. We create a shared directory of all the illustrations, both black and white and color. You'll get access to that. You can download them, print them up however you want. The only thing you can't do is put it in your own game for publications. You can't make money off these illustrations, but you can do anything else you want with them. The retail pledge includes 3 copies of this core set. We are not offering the individual books for sale. Once again, if we did that, I would have to create like 9 different pledge levels, and I'm not in the mood to do that. It would just make these things confusing. So we're only offering the retail package for the complete set. But because they're expensive, we're only putting in 3, so you don't have to be committed to ordering 5 or 6. You just need to get 3. And because we want to throw a bone to our retailers, you're going to get the digital versions as well. Now we're talking about the upgrades. So this is what we're talking about. These are for pledges reserved only for backers of the original 2019 Ultramodern 5 that also gained the 3 Affinity books, either as a reward or as an add-on. Now, People have asked me, and it's in the comments over here, that I know exactly who you are. There's about 200 of you. Now, if it was like 900 of you, I probably wouldn't do this. I'd find some other solution. But 200 I can manage. And that means anytime someone pledges one of these 2 pledges, I can check CrowdOx and see if you have. Now, if you have not backed 2019, you buy one of these pledges, I'm taking your money and you're not getting a game. So do not pledge these levels unless you backed Affinity. And I will be reaching out to you guys. An email will be going out to everybody who pledged, who's part of that. So all 200 of you are going to get an email saying, hey guys, this is launching. If you want the black and white, you don't have to do anything. If you want the color upgrade or the physical upgrade, here are the 2 pledges you can do. I know who you are, so you don't need to tell me about it. If you're unsure, you can email me. I can look you up and go, yep, you're one of those. Go right ahead. I've had 2 people ask me and go, how do you know? And I go, well, you did and you did, so I know you guys do. So I know who you are. It's about 200 of you total. So, I have some people already that's saying they're not going to do this, that they're going to buy the complete pledge anyway to support me. I love you. You don't have to do that. I appreciate it. So there's 2 pledges. Obviously, there's no Monochrome upgrade because that's what you guys are getting anyway if you don't back the campaign. So we have the color upgrade, which I said is $13. This gets you both the black and white and the full color version. Like I said, only $13. So if you've backed the 3 games and you want the color, $13, $10 US, and you get them all in color. And you get the black and whites as well. Now, you're asking, wait a second, what if I just bought one of the books in 2019? Can I do these? The answer is no, because once again, I'd have to create a bunch of new upgrade pledges for 2 people. Only 2 people bought individual books and not bought the other one. So if you're one of those 2 people that bought one of the specific games and wants the upgrade, well, you're not eligible. But if you want to go for this and you want a credit, easy as cake. If you're one of those 2 people, I will be glad to refund you your money for that one, and then you can go in and pledge one of the big Affinity ones, either the digital color or the monochrome or what have you. So I can still help you out, but there's only 2 of you, so that's why it wasn't no point putting on a pledge level for 2 people. Just no point. And then this is the ultra-modern physical upgrade. So this is for people, once again, that got all 3 games in 2019. Same thing. This is exactly the same as the complete package, except it's a bit cheaper, and it gives you the book and the 3 games and the art portfolio. So this is exactly the same as the color PDF complete, and this is the complete physical one just for these 200 specific backers. Like I said, it's been on the honor system, and I know I can find out who you are. I just added this image here so people can see. Right, 3 PDFs, so 1 PDF of each of these 2, 1 physical, all 3, 6, 1 plus 6 PDFs, 3 books and 3 PDFs, 6 PDFs here, and 1 book and 6 PDFs here. So it says here, includes monochrome PDFs. We could put 2 rows of those, but that just feels confusing. The stretch goals. You can see we have a handful of stretch goals visible, but there's a whole bunch. In fact, there's actually more. We have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's actually more than listed there. I just don't want to show them all. Otherwise, this would be a long thing, and there's no point showing them all. So we have one every $5,000 is a stretch goal, right? Some of them are simple. We just unlock more illustrations. But some of them are a pay quality upgrade for the physical book. Goes to 60 to 70 gram offset. And we will see a few more of those. And some elements, like here, offer brand new elements. So Paradise gets a new race, Conestoga gets a new race, Taurus gets a new race. And this will keep on going for as long as you guys support the campaign. It would be amazing to unlock all of them. I'm not expecting that to happen, but it would be really cool if we did. I have some great ideas to show you guys. And it would be nice to show you guys what the other locked stretch goals are and see some really cool ones. There are some amazing things that are in there, so it'd be awesome if we can unlock some of those levels. And then there's some add-ons. I still have copies of Ultramodern 5 from the original Kickstarter. I have that, and I have the alternate cover as well. So this allows people to get this. Some ask me if I'm going to run a campaign for a reprint of these. Maybe, we'll see. It'll depend on how much people want these. I'm going to be printing more of these up. Probably not a lot of these alternates, but probably a lot more of these redos. And the deluxe version. A lot of people loved it. I was not anticipating how good this was going to look. I'm hoping that people don't get these. I hope people order more of these because I want more of these made. And then you can also get the PDFs for Neurospasta and Apex. These are all available. You also get the print-on-demand coupons, so you can order them at cost. The print versions from Drive-Thru-RPG. So these are the add-ons. The GM screen will offer the GM screen as an add-on as well. So there you go. That one, obviously, we've seen elements of that illustration around here today. Just up here, actually. Where is it? There he is. There we go. Just that one right there. So that's available. And then we have a FAQ, which I've gone through here. The difference between the monochrome and the color. How do I know if I'm eligible? What if I only purchased one of the Affinity books in 2019? Am I eligible to upgrade? No. Do I need Ultramodern 5 to play? It's suggested. It's recommended. It's not mandatory. Are all 3 books required to understand the story? Yes, but you do not need all 3 books to play the game mechanically. We go through Quartermaster Logistics, and they're the ones that can offer friendly shipping to locations. They have a great way of doing it. Digital fulfillment is going through Drive-Thru-RPG, and we use CrowdOx as our campaign manager. And obviously, people know me. I've been writing role-playing games as a homebrew since the early 90s. I'm going to be going through a whole series of videos talking about the history of that, specifically my most famous homebrew creation, which was an Alien Fusion game. And Amethyst was my first original setting. It was published in 2008 for D20 for 3.5. Then I jumped on to the 4th edition GSL, produced Amethyst Foundations for Goodman Games. When they dropped 4th edition, I kept going with Ultramodern 4 and Amethyst Evolution. Following that, I produced a bunch of stuff for 4th edition as well, supporting that system, including Apex and Neurospasta. When we went to 5th edition, we launched an Amethyst Kickstarter, where we adapted Amethyst to 5th edition, put out a new version for 4th edition, came out with a Pathfinder full color, and also released it for 13th Age Savage World at Fate Core. That was a big project. It took 4 years to create all those games. After Amethyst Renaissance came out in, 2017, we put Amethyst, we took the setting out and released the tech rules in there as Ultramodern 5, which ended up becoming our most successful product by a very large margin. We then adapted Apex and Neurospasta for 5th edition. They've also become very, very popular. And then we launched the Ultramodern 5 Redo campaign to relaunch Ultramodern as a full-color book. That raised a lot of money, and that resolved last year. We've also recently done some board games. We have a board game called Naramata. That one's all completed. It's going to production right now. What will I do next? Well, I'd like to continue working for 5th edition. And I'd like to continue doing more work. Affinity is almost 90% written, depending on the stretch goals. If we only get to, say 40 or 50,000, then all the writing has been basically done. We basically go to the artwork, and then we go into print, and we get the games delivered late summer, because there's not much more to do. If, however, we do get the campaign fully funded all the way through every stretch goal, there'll be some additional work required. Obviously, the books will get a lot larger. And we're probably looking at an early 2022, if not really late 2021 release. But it'll be worth it because the game will be amazing. So like I said, those are the campaign pledges. 13. These are done in packages, but on the right-hand side, they're done in incremental order from price. So we have the Monochrome single, and then the upgrade here, $13. The 18 single-color digital, and the Monochrome pack for $31. There's the full-color digital here. There's the color single print for $49, the upgrade, and then the major one, the Affinity Complete Set right here. I know there's going to be some confusion. I have written here, only available for backers that purchase all 3 Affinity books with 2019's Ultramodern 5. This is the one you really need to look at. This is the one that gives you all the products with this Kickstarter, every single thing. And then finally, the retail pledge for those retailers that want to support the game. So guys, that's it. This is an overview of Ultramodern. Watch the videos, check the campaign. We're launching on March 30th. I really, really hope I can count on your support. And then I can keep on producing great content for you guys without having to get a day job. Anyway, this is Chris from Deus Ex Machina.